Hello everyone. I am back with another video. It is currently 12:11. Can y'all see that? 12:11. Y'all, I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah, it is a little bit after midnight right now. And so the video that I'm filming is seeing how many books I can read in 24 hours. Notice how I didn't say this is a 24-hour reading challenge, because that's not what this is. I don't think I'll ever do one of those because I love to sleep. One thing about me is I'm gonna sleep. So we're not doing a 24-hour reading challenge because I would fail. I'm just being realistic. I would fail. So what I'm going to do is seeing how many books I can read over 24 hours. So what I'm gonna do is go into the clock app, and I would do a stopwatch, but the stopwatch resets a lot, so I don't trust it. Trust issues are at a high when it comes to the stopwatch. So what I'm gonna do is go on here and then do 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I will start it whenever I read and stop it whenever I read, and that'll be that. And we'll see how many books I can finish within that 24-hour time. It's like the next day. It's like 8 o'clock. The book I'm going to be reading or starting with is in this little book sleeve that my mom made me. Everything by Nicole Yoon. Here's the actual dust jacket. In this book we are following Maddie, and she is told that she has this disease, or a lot of diseases I think actually, but she has this rare disease which basically she's allergic to everything, so she has to stay in her house. And these people move next door, and this guy Ali ends up moving next door to her, and he is in the room directly across from her, so she is able to communicate with him and they grow this relationship. And that's all I'm gonna say, because obviously I know how the book ends. I know what happens in the book because I've watched the movie, but I've never read the book. So this is going to be the first one because it's young adult romance. I feel like it's gonna go so quickly. But yeah, I will start this some point today. Change your ways, so set me loose. I am not gonna sit here and lie. I'm filming this clip a week later from when I started this. I like haven't read. I read a little bit today, but before that I haven't read. So here's your update. Here's the timer. You see we're at 22 hours, 54 minutes, and 28 seconds. So in that hour and 6 minutes, I have read 105 pages of everything. Honestly, I am liking this. I think it's cute, but I also think because I know the story and I know exactly what's gonna happen, I'm not too invested in it, which is why I always try to read the books before I watch the movie, because now I'm like not as invested because I'm like, I know the story, I know what happens, so I'm not super invested in what is going on in here. I know the story, I think it's cute, but I think because I know the story, I'm just like, I've been here before. So there's that. I just haven't been reading much at all. So that's why only an hour and 6 minutes is off of the clock, because I just haven't been reading. Like, I read most of this today before I went to work. But those are my thoughts as of now, with everything and why I haven't been reading as much. I'm gonna try to read a lot today from now on, we will be doing better. Okay? 22 hours and 56 minutes. 22 hours and 54 minutes left. How many books can we read in that amount of time? I don't know. We shall see. But I will get back to you guys at some point. Maybe I'll get some footage of me reading this. I don't know yet. We'll see. I'll see you guys later. Okay, guys. I have an update for you guys because the timer is way lower than it was before. We are at 18 hours 34 minutes and 34 seconds. I did end up finishing Everything by Nicole Yoon. I took a picture or a screenshot. So I finished this book at 20 hours 47 minutes and 42 seconds. And yeah, so it took me like 3 hours and 13 minutes to finish this book. I did like this book, like I said before, in all the other updates. I've watched the movie before, so I already knew everything about the book and what was gonna happen. So as I was reading, I was anticipating what was happening because I knew what was gonna happen. But there were things that were in the movie that wasn't in here. There were things that were in here that wasn't in the movie. Either way, I thought it was good. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5, just because like I know everything. A 3.5 is not a bad rating by any means. It was good. It wasn't the best thing ever. It was good. It was enjoyable. So yeah, that was everything. The ending was cute. I enjoyed it. And then after, I came home and I watched the movie, and I watched The Sun Is Also a Star, and I had a great time. So since then, I've read for about 2 hours The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. So I'm almost 25% through this book. I'm on page 135, and page 167 will get me 25% of the way through, and I'm a chapter away from there. I'm enjoying this. I really am. When I tried to read this before, I was not in the mood for it, which was why I couldn't get into it. But now I'm reading it quite quickly. I'm enjoying it. In this book, we are following Aiden Graves and Vanessa Missouri. Aiden Graves is a defensive end in the National Football Organization. He plays for the equivalent to the NFL in this book, and he has an assistant named Vanessa. And at the beginning of the book, we learn that Vanessa does not want to be his assistant anymore. She does not want to work for him anymore, so she quits. And then he comes to her house and tries to win her back. And I'm at the point where he's trying to convince her to work for him again, and it's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of annoys me. I don't think I like him much. It's just that she said no multiple times and he just keeps asking her, and it's just quite annoying. And it's like everything she's saying is going in one ear and out the other, and it's just, I need him to calm down. I need him to stop. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just wanted to update you guys before I went and cleaned my room a little bit. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I will actually get footage of me reading this book, like everything, but yeah, that's where I'm standing as of now. Do like the book though. Okay guys, first let me show you the timer. 17 hours 36 minutes and 34 seconds. I think that is almost exactly an hour from where we were before, somewhere around that time. I am now on chapter 10. Last time I updated you guys, I think I was on chapter 8. Yeah, I was on chapter 8, page 135. I'm now on chapter 10, page 191, which is over 25%. So I'm excited. I am really enjoying this. I kind of want to learn more about Aiden, because right now I'm not the biggest fan of him, and I think it's just because I don't know enough about him to make like an educated guess about him. Like, I only know what Vanessa thinks about him, and for the most part it's not great things. So I want to learn more about him so I can make a more knowledgeable guess, and we're not guess, but like base my decision on if I like him or not on his actual things. But I guess also like what he is doing is not very nice things. We've gotten to like kind of into the actual plot of the story, which I can't tell you because it does not say it on the back, but we've kind of gotten really a lot into the plot. They are first starting out their little situation that is what I think is going to fuel the romance. So yeah, but I'm enjoying this. I have like maybe like 50% is 339, so I still have quite a bit until I get to that point. And I want to give you guys an update because I'm now over 25%. I usually give updates at that point, but yeah. So yeah, and I'm going to read some more and then get ready because my brother has a scrimmage, a football scrimmage, and I will update you guys later.
Every night I try to love, but your heart is made of stone. All my tears, they fall like rain, yet you leave me here alone. I give you all I have inside. You pretend it's all pretend. Your empty eyes, they break me down. Will this torment never end? Endless pain, it's all I know. Hurt me more or let me go. In this game, my heart will.
Hi guys, wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because I'm off of work. I've been off of work for like 4 hours now, but we then went to Walmart. I got some books that will be in a different video, and then I got home and I started watching K-pop. And by K-pop I mean 0base1. I've been obsessed. Anyway, that's what I've been doing for like the past like 3 hours, from like 9:30 till now. That's what I've been doing. And I was telling myself, like, I'm gonna read, but girl, you have to work at 10 tomorrow, so no, after this you're going to sleep. But I wanted to give you guys an update because I have made some progress in the Wall of Winnipeg and Me. As you can see, this is my bookmark of where I am right now. This is 75%. So as you can see, I've been reading. I went to work today, and it wasn't really that busy. For the first like hour it was kind of busy, and then after that hour it wasn't really busy anymore. So from like 4 to 8 I literally just sat there and read, hence why my time is now 14 hours and 19 minutes, because I read quite a bit. Right now I am on page 397, chapter 20. There's 665 pages in this book, so I'm like well over halfway, super close to the end. I really am enjoying this book. I've been enjoying it since the very beginning, but now I'm kind of like, here's the thing. I think Culty is a 5-star. Like, Culty is a 5-star. Mariana Zapata book for me. I think I like this more. This is just a lot deeper than I feel Culty is. It goes into a lot, like with a lot of family issues. So I think if you're gonna read this book, definitely check trigger warnings. For honestly any book that you read, you never know. but definitely for this book, because it does talk about certain elements of a family dynamic that may be triggering to some people. But I'm really enjoying this. I like hearing about like how much work. I know firsthand. I live in a house full of football players, so I know firsthand how much goes into football and training for football and what goes on during the football season. I know. But also like hearing about all of that is comforting in a way, because it's something that I'm familiar with, but also it's done so well. It's done realistically, which I always appreciate. It's also interesting to read about it because this person is in the NFL. I've only experienced Little League in high school. Like, other than that, not very much. So it's nice to kind of see how the extent of what this goes to when you are in the organization, like in the league. Let's talk about the characters. I really do like Vanessa. I love her. I think she's super strong. I think she is one of the strongest female main characters that I've read about. She's so strong in the way that she reacts to things. She's very mature, I feel like. Now, but her inner monologue may not be as mature, but the way she handles things outwardly is very mature. I also think with everything that goes on in her life, she's very mature. She's very mature. She's very strong. Because me personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Aiden. I was saying in the last clip I wanted to make my own. Like I wanted to get to know him more, to make a really knowledgeable guess on, or not guess, but decision on whether I liked him or not. And I have decided I do like Aiden. Aiden is a very complex character, because he's so like set in his ways, so it's very difficult for him to kind of change, but you see him trying to change the way he is, and I think that is honorable in itself. I think he is a human being, and change does not come easy, but I think it's refreshing to see him have these flaws, but also then try and change them, like be actively changing them, because in a lot of romance books we see these morally gray men, and throughout the story they don't really have any like growth. They are still morally gray throughout the story. There's no change. There's no like activity of them like trying to change however they are for the person that they want to be with. Now, with this story, it is a bit different because we have a situation that has put them together, but I can tell there's some attraction, there's some feeling towards each other there, but I think they're both actively trying to be like, no. Especially Vanessa, because my niyareadsyt does not do dual point of view. We only give Vanessa's point of view, so that's all we're seeing. We're not in Aiden's head. We don't know what is going on in there. We see Vanessa and we see her actively trying to deny what she feels, which is okay, you know? Everyone goes through it, you know? You gotta deny sometimes. Deny, as Roderick and Greg Heffley would say. If you know that reference, I will love you forever, because that was my childhood. If you know that reference, we are officially besties and I love you. Anyway, she's denying it, and I feel like he is trying to do more, but he's also very hesitant in what he's doing, and he's also hesitant. And I feel like his feelings, they're both very hesitant in their feelings and what their situation is. So I feel for them, but I think the story is really cute. I love the characters because they feel, I feel like I say this a lot, but they feel real. They're very complex. They're not just these 2D characters that are just there and have no development, no change, no, yeah. So I'm enjoying this. Hopefully, honestly, I think I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. I told myself, "Oh, you can finish this today." She's not. So I'm gonna go to sleep so that I can wake up and go to work. It's update time, guys. I'm in a different area that is also my bed. We have some updates. I have a 11 hours and 4 minutes left. So quite different from, how many hours did I have left? I don't remember how many I had the last time I spoke to you guys. It was either 16 or 14. One of those two. Either way, quite a lot of progress. If it was 16, 5 hours. If it was 14, like 3 hours. So I have been doing pretty well. Been reading quite a lot. Oh my gosh, this is one of the book sleeves that my mom made me. She's made me 2, and this is the one I'm currently using because it fits my book, because this one's quite a big one, but my mom made it for me. Isn't it cute? That's not what we're here for though. This is what we're here for. The wall of unpacking me. You guys are probably like, you're probably done with it by now. I'm not. To be fair, I have like 60 pages left. I have this much left of the book. Guys, I'm really liking it. I'm really liking it. I don't know what to do. I'll probably just finish the book. Yes, that, but also like, it's so good. And I'm kind of sad that I'm about to be done with the book. Guys, I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, but I am very sad that I'm gonna be over and be done with this book. Also, this book is very deep. If anyone is planning on reading this, like I said before, check your trigger warnings, but now I'm stressing, check your trigger warnings, because this book talks about parental and familial relationships and dynamics, which can be a trigger for some people. And it's hitting a little close to home for me, not gonna lie. I have a strained relationship with my biological father, to say the least. And they're talking about their relationships with their parents. And I'm just like, wow, me too. There was one part in the book, if I can find it, let's see. I can't find it right now, but I kind of remember what she said, because Vanessa has a pretty tumultuous relationship with her sisters, but also with her mother. And her mother kind of does a little bit of grimy stuff regarding Vanessa and her relationship with her sisters. And Vanessa literally said, she was like, I don't understand why I bother trying to have a relationship with my mother, and I felt that. Not with my mom. My mom is my best friend, okay? But I do feel that in a sense with my father, because it's just a little difficult, and this book is really making me feel things that I was not expecting to feel. And quite honestly, I'm here for it. I am here for it. I don't like to feel emotions that I was not prepared to feel, okay? I don't like to do it, but this book is just too good for me to stop reading. So we're just gonna have to endure, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this was really good. I'm enjoying this more than Call Team. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but I am. We will see how I feel after these 60 pages and how this ends, but it's very good, guys. But I only have 11 hours left out of this challenge. It feels like way longer because I've been doing this over the course of days, but I think this is what's best for me because I love my sleep. I also get really grumpy irritated when I don't sleep, because sleep is quite important to me. So yeah, I think I can read another book after I finish this. I think I can read another book in this video. I think, not I think. We will see. But I want to give you guys that update because we are now over halfway through this challenge. And yeah, I would say this is a success because I'm definitely gonna finish The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by the end of this video, because I would hope it wouldn't take me 11 hours to read 60 pages. I would hope not. If it takes other people 11 hours to read 60 pages, that's fine. But I read a little bit faster than that, so I'd be a little concerned if it took me that long. Anyways, I'm going to finish this book and then I will update you guys on my final thoughts. Well, at that moment. Because at the end I am going to do a whole recap of all the books that I have read, but I will tell you my thoughts on the book when I finish it at the end. So yeah.
Change your ways or set me loose. Cold nights and colder days, living in the shadow space. I guess I never find the light, living in this endless night. Promises you never keep, whisper lies when I'm asleep. Lonely, I'll just sit and weep. Love me now or let me leave. Endless pain, it's all I know. Hurt me more or let me go.
Guys, it is currently 12:25 and not my phone about to die. Anyway, I just finished The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. This book, what can I say? It was great. I know I told you the rating for everything already, but I've decided from now on we're gonna do the ratings at the end. I need you guys to wait for my rating. But I loved this book. This book made me feel a lot. Made me feel happy, made me feel sad, made me think of things I don't want to think of. But all in all, like, the romance, I feel, was very strong, very powerful. It was so good. It was so good. And I think adding that element of having so many other things, like the characters were their own. Like, when you were focusing on one character, you weren't like craving their interactions with another character, which is what I think I feel a lot when it comes to romance books. I think when the two main characters are not together, I'm kind of just like, well, like, they're boring on their own. Like, what's happening? It's just not interesting to me. But with this book, like, they're like, what they were dealing with and going through outside of the situation that they had together was entertaining for me. It was something that I was enjoying reading. With the actual sports aspect of the book, you definitely go into the sports, but it's definitely more of the behind the scenes. Like, you're not really paying much attention to the games or anything. It's definitely like the behind the scenes and what it really takes to be a football player in like the league. So yeah, but I feel like this is powerful. Both characters are powerful. That's all I'm gonna say right now because I'm tired, and I will give a more in-depth review at the end, and how I felt about this, and also in my wrap-up I will probably talk about this book for at least 5 minutes because so good, so good. But now I'm conflicted because I still have, how much time do I have left on? I have 10 hours left on my timer, and I feel like I could read, if they're small books or easy books, I feel like I can read at least 2 more books in this video. because the first book, Everything took me 3 hours to read. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me took me a little bit. I think I was at 2030 or 2040, something like that, when I started The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. So it took me like 10.5 hours to read that book, but the book was also close to 700 pages, so I'm not beating myself up about that. Now the question is, what do I read next? I have books. The books in this video have been the books that are on my August TBR from off the top of my head, off the dome. I know that I have The Reappearance of Rachel Price, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and Normal People, Shatter Me. And then I have Circe and The Song of Achilles. Those two I'm not going to read in this video because I have another video that I want to read with those books, or that I want to film with those books. So those are not going to be in this video. But I don't think I want a romance, but I am really wanting to read Normal People. And I think that's just counted as literary fiction, but I know it is a very heavy romance plot, I think. So I don't know if that is what I want to read or if I want to read a fantasy. I know I don't want to read Shatter Me right now because I know that also has a very heavy romance plot, and I'm just not really in the mood for romance right now after reading Everything and The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I don't think I'm in a romance mood. So I think it's between The Reappearance of Rachel Price and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. But what we should do, actually, because I have a lot of books that are on the books I want to read in 2024. Just crossed one off the list. Okay, none of those books are on here. I think I may be in the mood for a thriller. I think. Just because I feel like I haven't read one in a while. Am I lying? The last one I read was The Club, and I finished that on July 23rd. Because Billy Summers is not really a thriller. I think I'm going to read The Reappearance of Rachel Price. That will also tell me if I like writing enough to read The Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, which I've also been wanting to read for a while. So let me grab that and then we will start that. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I actually have 2 copies of this book because Book of the Month sent me 2 because apparently something was wrong with the first one. I don't know which one is the messed up one, so I guess we'll figure it out. But The Reappearance of Rachel Price, I've wanted to read this for a while because I'm kind of nervous to just jump into a series. So this will be a little taste test of Holly Jackson to see if I like her writing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy it. How many pages is this? 430 pages in this book. And the font is kind of small, as you know. Book of the Month, but the margins are big, so I think we'll be okay. So this is the next book. I think I may read a chapter or 2 before I go to bed, depending on how long they are. But as you can see in my voice, you can hear it in my voice, you can see it in my eyes, I'm tired. So this is the next book. So yeah, I'll see you guys later after I get the rest that I so desperately need. Good night. Update time. 8 hours and 13 minutes left on my timer. I am about almost 25% of the way through The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Guys, I have a new book sleeve. My mom made it for me. It's a little heart and it clips. This is probably my favorite one that she's made me, not gonna lie. I don't know, it just gives me, I love the colors. It's very fall. Probably my favorite. Anyway, we're here for the book. The book. I have the Book of the Month edition, as I'm sure a lot of people do. So, I am actually 2 chapters away from 25% of the way. I'm on page 93, chapter 11, in this book. How do I feel? How do I feel is the question. I don't really know. My dog has just decided that now is the perfect time for her to be drinking her water with a bunch of ice in it. So, if you hear that, it's her world, okay? So we can't tell her no. Anyways, how do I feel about this book? Honestly, I feel like I'm not crazy about it. I don't know. I think the premise is cool, but I also think that the book is very slow. I think it's a very slow-paced book, and maybe as we get farther in, it'll speed up. But right now, it's really slow, and I don't like a slow-paced book. But maybe it'll speed up. I don't know. We're following Rachel. Actually, no. Well, okay, it's not even a spoiler. It's in the title. Rachel has reappeared. She disappeared at some point, and now she's back. And I don't know. I've only seen her for like 2 chapters, so I guess I can't really have a set opinion on her. But I don't think I'm the craziest about Rachel, just because I'm a little suspicious about her. I'm a little suspicious. I don't know if there's gonna be a subplot of romance, but if there is, I feel like it's gonna be Belle and Ash, and I'm rooting for them. That is what I'm thinking right now. I do like Belle. I don't know, the rest of her family, I'm honestly kind of suspicious of everyone, which is usually how it goes when I'm reading a mystery thriller. I'm kind of suspicious of everyone, but like right now it's like top. It's really bad. Like I think everyone has something to do with it. But yeah, those are my thoughts right now. I'm going to read a little bit before I go to bed. I do have work at 10 tomorrow, but I went to sleep as soon as I got home today. So I am not feeling very tired at the moment, so I'm going to read a little bit. However, I'm not going to read The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I think I'm going to start Normal People, just because right now my mental is not enough to be reading a mystery thriller, especially about a woman disappearing and then reappearing. I'm gonna have dreams about it, and quite honestly, I don't want to have dreams about someone disappearing. So I think I'm going to read Normal People. This is my other book sleeve that my mom has made. I have 3 of them as of now. I have this one. This is the first one she made me. It's like a smaller one. This is the most recent one she made me, and then the purple one that you guys have seen in other clips. But Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have heard so many. Okay, motorcycle. I have heard so many mixed things about Normal People, in particular. Oh, this is short. I did not realize how short it was. But yeah, I've heard really mixed things about Normal People. I feel like you either hate the book or you love it, and there's not very much in between. But Haley Pham did love this book, and I love Haley Pham, so I should love it, right? I don't know. But I also know that she doesn't write with quotation marks, and that is a big irk for people. I don't think it's gonna bother me that much, but I mean, I guess we shall see. I know this is kind of like, I think normal people is considered just fiction, like literary fiction. I don't know. But we're following Connell and Marianne, and they were friends in high school. It says at school, Connell and Marianne pretend not to know each other. He's popular and well-adjusted, a star of the school football team, while she is lonely, proud, and intensely private. When Connell comes to pick his mother up from her job at Marianne's house, a strange and indelible connection grows between the two teenagers, one they are determined to conceal. A year later, they're both studying at Trinity College in Dublin. Marianne has found her feet in a new social world while Connell, right? Hangs at the sidelines, shy and uncertain. Throughout their years at university, Marianne and Connell circle each other, straying toward other people and possibilities, but always magnetically, irresistibly drawn back together. And as she veers into self-destruction and he begins to search for meaning elsewhere, each must confront how far they're willing to go to save the other. So, there's that. I think it's just general fiction. But yeah, I think I'm gonna read this until I fall asleep. And then, yeah. So you may possibly be doing 2 more books in this video, depending on how fast I can read this and this. I don't know. Honestly, I think I can finish this super quickly. It's so short. But also that just depends on how fast I can process some things in this book. We'll see. But yeah, this is what I'm gonna read until I fall asleep, and then I will see you guys tomorrow at some point. Hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow's work day is not as busy as today's was, and I don't come home completely dead and exhausted, and I can read when I get home. We'll see. But this is on the schedule for tonight. Okay. I am now 4 hours. I have 4 hours and 18 minutes left on this timer, and I just finished Normal People by Sally Rooney. How do I feel about this book is the question that I have for myself. Obviously, I got some stuff out of it. I have tabs, so I got something out of it. I think that the book was written beautifully. The writing was beautiful. But I think that this book had a lot of my triggers that I wasn't necessarily aware of before starting this book, which made me not like it as much. We'll talk about it closer to the end. All of the triggers of mine that are in this book, so that if you guys plan on ever reading this book, you guys know what is inside. But I think that definitely is going to play a factor in my rating. But I do not think that the book was bad. I do think that, like I said, it was beautifully written. I do think a lot of like important things were talked about in this book. I do think it is an important book, and I get why everyone loves this book. I think it's just a me problem, why I wasn't so taken by this book. I think it's a me problem. In fact, I know it's a me problem. But I enjoyed it. There was just some things that were a bit iffy for me. But now I'm going to be finishing The Reappearance of Rachel Price, because I just need to finish that, and I feel like I can finish that in 4 hours. And then this video will be over, but I did want to update and say that I did finish Normal People by Sally Rooney. It did take me a little bit to finish this book because of so much that was happening in this book, but I think I would still recommend this book to people. I just don't think it was a personal favorite for me, and that's fine. I feel like with this book is very mixed, but I now understand why this book has very mixed reviews, because it deals with a lot. So yeah, I'm not gonna read The Reappearance of Rachel Price, and depending on if I finish that within the time limit, maybe we'll start another book, maybe we won't, I don't know. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys some updates before I went to sleep, because I'm about to go to sleep. It is currently 11:46, if you can see that, and I have 2 hours and 7 minutes left on the timer. Now, where am I at in The Reappearance of Rachel Price? I am over 50% of the way through. Spotify and Goodreads say I'm 54% through, so there's that. But I am on page 239, chapter 30 of The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Now, my thoughts. I think that this book is I think the pacing of this, not even that. I think that the way the book is progressing is good for me, and I enjoy how much is happening, but at the same time, none of it is keeping me intrigued. I'm kind of annoyed to an extent with all our characters, and then me with my trust issues. I also don't trust any of our characters, so I'm kind of just like, what the heck? So there's that, but I think the writing is good. Like, the book is very easy for me to like get through. Like, I can read it quite quickly. Like, I can definitely finish this book in 2 hours, but I can't necessarily say that I'm like enjoying it. But I do enjoy the writing and how easy it is to get through this book. So I do think that I will read like the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, but I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know. I thought the premise of the book was good, but I guess it's just not, in my opinion, executed as well as I think it could be. I don't know. There's a lot going on. I don't know. But that's how I'm feeling. Guys. It is currently 12:12. I've been listening and reading along to The Reappearance of Rachel Price, right? Who told me that it was a good idea for me to read a freaking mystery thriller book at 12 before I'm supposed to go to sleep, knowing I have vivid dreams? Who told me it was a good idea? Because it's not. Am I gonna do it? I am. So as you can see, the plot twist got me. I'm enjoying the book way more than I was before. If you can't tell, I have 3 hours and 48 minutes left of the audiobook, but I listened to it on 2.3 times speed. So really, I have like an hour and a half, kind of, give or take some change, I suppose. But I have 2 hours and 7 minutes left.
In this game, my heart will lose. Change your ways or set me loose.
Okay, some updates. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I did end up finishing this book. When I finished it, I think there was like 45 minutes left on the clock. It is now 26 minutes left on the clock. I actually really enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot more towards the end. But I will give you my final updates on this book at the very end. It has been maybe a day since I updated you guys, but I did finish that yesterday. And I started this yesterday, Ready Player One. This is going to be in another video. I'm not going to finish this in this video. That's for sure this is not gonna get finished in this video, but you guys will see this in a different video, so it's not like you guys are never gonna see me read this. It'll be in a different video. But I got to the end of the chapter because I was listening to it. So I got to page 27 in this book. Out of those 22 to, I don't know, out of those minutes that I had, I didn't read much at work yesterday, but I did read a little bit. And I got 27 pages in, and I'm just going to read until this timer goes off. It ends at 3:55. I have work at 5 today. So it shouldn't, like, I should be able to finish this and then finish this video.
Endless pain, it's all I know. Hurt me more or let me go. In this game, my heart will lose. Change your ways or set me loose.
Okay, as you can see, the timer just went off, meaning this video is officially over. So I read 4 books and 12% of 1 book in the span of 24 hours. And here are those books. I'm very proud of myself, knowing that if I just sat and read for 24 hours straight, I would read 4 books. Like, I am quite proud of myself. With that, let's start off with the first book that I read, and that was Everything by Nicole Yoon. In this book, you are following a girl who is sick, and she has basically been sick her entire life, and someone moves in next door and they spark up a little friendship, romance, whatever you want to call it. It was definitely a romance. This book I have had since 10th grade, either 9th or 10th grade. I've had it for a long time. I'm a sophomore in college. I've had it for quite a minute. But I have had this book for a while, and I watched the movie. I've watched the movie multiple times. In fact, I watched the movie right after I finished this book because it was just like I just needed to. I did like this book, but I said this before, I think because I watched the movie, my thoughts were kind of comparing it to the movie, and like I knew the story. Nothing was new. So I gave this a 3.5 stars. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the most amazing thing I have ever read, but it wasn't bad by any means. I just think that since it was so familiar because I watched the movie, it kind of, I don't know, took some things away from me. I feel like if I read this first and it was the first time I was reading it, maybe my rating would be different, but nonetheless, I already knew the story. It was cute. It was good. It was a 3.5. The next book I read was The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This is a sports romance. It is following, what was her name? Vanessa and Aiden. Aiden is the defensive end on this, basically the equivalent of the NFL. It's called the National Football Organization. He's the top defensive end in this organization, and Vanessa is his housemaid, his maid, his assistant, whatever you want to call it. And she ends up quitting and leaving, and he comes and he begs her to come back. This book was a 5-star. I have read 2 Mariana Zapata books, and both of them have been 5 stars. This one and Culty have both been 5 stars for me. I loved this book. I felt like this one went a lot more into the family life and the problems that the couple was having, both individually and together, and I think I enjoyed that. Because in Culty we didn't really do a lot of that, and I just enjoyed seeing those parts of the story and also seeing all of the sports aspect of the story. So I did enjoy this. This was a 5-star. I ate the book up. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. I don't remember how long it took me to read this book, but it is She is quite thick, so it probably took me a little bit, but yeah, 5 stars. The next book I read was Normal People by Sally Rooney. This one is probably going to be a bit of an actually, I don't think it's an unpopular opinion, because I feel with this book, you either like it or you don't. I'm the one that's right in the middle, because it's not that I didn't like this. I think this book just has a lot of my triggers, so it's definitely a me problem. It's not a book problem, because I did tap this book, and so obviously I got some things out of this book, but I just feel like it had a lot of my triggers, so how I reacted to the book may not be how other people reacted to this book. So basically we are following Marianne and Connell, I think is his name, and it's basically just following them from high school to like through college, and seeing their relationship with each other, because there's a lot of different dynamics in this relationship. It is a very toxic relationship, I'm going to say it. It is a very toxic relationship, because we have someone who is willing to give their all, their absolute everything to one person, and then there is one person that kind of is aware that this person is going to do that and is taking advantage of it in a way. And that was a triggering point for me. Just the way that some of the characters were a bit triggering for me. I think that if you are going to read this, you should check trigger warnings. I think you should check trigger warnings for every book that you read, because you never know. I will say the book was beautifully written. The writing was beautiful. It's just the contents of the book that didn't really sit well with me. The no quotation marks thing didn't bother me. I was able to figure out when someone was talking, so that wasn't a problem for me. I am going to give this book a 3-star. That is not a bad rating. It was not a bad book. I would still recommend this book. It was just not for me personally. So let us know what people by Sally Rooney. The last book that I read was The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Genuinely, I think this was the book where I think this and The Wall of Winnipeg and Me were the books where I updated the most. I definitely updated a lot with this book from what I remember, and I really enjoyed this. I liked the writing. I feel like the pacing was weird. The pacing was a little weird for me. There was parts of the book where it was going slow, and then we got to the end and it was everything was coming at me, and I felt like the pacing got weird at moments, but other than that, I liked the book. It took me a while to really care about the characters. I don't think I truly cared about the characters until I was like maybe 60% of the way through the book. Before that, I didn't really have any care about these characters and what happened to them, as bad as that sounds. But when I got to that 60% mark, I was definitely more into it and more like I cared more about what happened to the characters in the book. Let me tell you, the plot twist got me. Didn't guess that at all. Wasn't even a thought in my mind. So she got me there. I do think that I will read more of her books, because I did enjoy this book. I did enjoy the writing. It was just the pacing that was a little weird. And towards the end, I did really enjoy the book. I'm going to give this book a 4-star, because the ending got me. The 60%, like when I got to that 60% mark, did not want to put the book down. Did not want to put the book down at all. I was just so into it. I was really like it was really good. So in this book, maybe I should tell you guys what it's about. In this book, we are following the Price family, and they are doing this documentary of Belle is our main character, and she is the daughter of Charlie and Rachel Price, and Rachel Price is her mother, and she disappeared 16 years ago, just disappeared. And they are now doing this documentary of the disappearance of Rachel Price, but something happens and Rachel Price reappears, and that kind of changes everything. In this book, you're like a lot is going on. You're talking a lot about family dynamics, but then you have this like mystery aspect. It was a lot going on, and I enjoyed it. It was really good. So I'm gonna give this a 4-star. I do recommend reading this if you are just like getting into like a mystery thriller. I feel like this would be a good one. And also if you're like trying to decide if you want to read the Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy, maybe read this like I did, because this made me want to then read more of her books. Like if you're trying to get into something that isn't a series but you want to see if you like her writing, I would recommend this. So yes, that is the last book that I finished in this video, and I did start Ready Player One yesterday. I am like 12% through this book. Like it wasn't getting finished. I knew that because I started it when there was like 40 minutes left on the clock. So I knew I wasn't finishing this book. But as of now, I've watched this movie twice already, and I've had this book for like at least 3 years at this point, so it needed to get done. My friend chose this for my September TBR. Like it needed to be done, and I knew that if I didn't read this now, it wasn't gonna get read ever. So this is what I'm reading now. Love the movie. So far I'm on chapter 4, page 47. I'm enjoying it. What I have read, I'm enjoying. So I don't really have any opinions about this so far, but yeah, that is the end of this video. If you guys have read any of these books, tell me what you guys have rated them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.